So, here we go again. I'm back, got a squeaky table. Well, more bangy table. But I've had a little nap. That's middle-aged for you, isn't it? Had a little snooze. Still can't work out how to put music on anything. I'm not got the hang of that at all. I'll work it out at some point. But yes, so wow, what an exciting existence I don't lead. So I've been reading through the craziness that is instructions on how to do podcasts. Apparently I should have had a theme tune. Don't have a theme tune. Also, apparently I am meant to have some pre-ramble. Go, hi, I'm... but also, I don't really care. So, no preamble. So, kind of, why waste your time by just telling you loads of stuff that you already knew from, because you've not listened to any of the other episodes. This is episode 2, I think. I can't count that high. But let's say, who cares? Anyway, right, we were looking at a book. It was an amazing book that I was given from the mystery book abandonment shelf at our local swimming pool. It was, I talked to someone else. There might be another book for me to read, but someone else has written by their friend, which is also very awful. So I'm just, to be honest, awful books, read awfully. That's the main principle of this podcast, I think. Anyway, yeah, so I've had a nap, so I'm a bit drowsy. Bit waffly again, I think. We did quite well on the first episode because we had 4 listeners. How exciting is that? 4 listeners, and 3 of them I knew who they were. So we have a mystery listener. But I don't actually think anyone really... the 3 other people who are listening are just listening because they're being nice, really, in the great scheme of things, and probably aren't really enjoying this rambling of a madman as much as I think they probably are. We don't know, because let's face it, it's all very odd. And so yeah. Anyway, right, we might have, yeah. Anyway, so yes, book. So what? Didn't Trevor? So it was Trevor and his wife Jane. Typical names: Jane, Trevor, Jane, Trevor. And his friend Dave had just rung him up. So that was very exciting. She had plugged her hairdryer in to a socket on the wall. So that was quite exciting. So let's just get on with it, shall we? Because I feel like I'm just rambling on again. Jane held the hairdryer to her head. Before she could turn it on, Trevor's mobile phone rang. It's typical, isn't it? Just that phone rings before you could turn a hairdryer on. Luckily, because if you had the hairdryer on, she wouldn't have heard the phone ring. Maybe that would have solved a whole if only that had happened, then we wouldn't have had the rest of this book to read. As she picked it up from the top of one of her bedside cabinets... as he picked it up from one of the bedside cabinets, he could see from a display that the call was from Dave. So his mate Dave. Everyone's got a mate Dave, haven't we? Everyone's got a mate Dave. Dave. Hey, Dave. But it's quite interesting that it was just one of the bedside cabinets. So I wonder how many they have. I really want to know, because if you've got one bed and... maybe they have 2 beds, so that's 3 bedside cabinets, isn't it? One in the middle, one either side. Or maybe they just have a bedside cabinet in every corner of the bed, so it doesn't matter which way around they lie. That's decadence, isn't it? Having all those bedside cabinets. Anyway, I digress. It's Dave, he said to Jane. We know because it said that the call was from Dave. She looked directly at his eyes, then at the hairdryer, which she was still holding up to her head, then back to Trevor's eyes. Right, I don't really understand. So she looked at his eyes, then looked at the hairdryer. Does a hairdryer have eyes? Very peculiar. So yeah, I think, I've just dropped the book. Right, Trevor's eyes. But it's still only on page 3. This is such a good book, isn't it? I'll speak to him outside, Trevor said, as he understood from Jane's action that she wanted to dry her hair. Well, yes, because she looked at her hairdryer. He smartly walked out of the bedroom, pulling the door closed behind him so that Jane could turn on the hairdryer. "Hello, Dave," Trevor said, as he answered the call, putting on a slightly downbeat voice. "Oh, hello, Dave." "Hello, Trev," came a reply. "You still got raging toothache?" "Yeah," Trevor said quietly, making out that he was suffering a little discomfort. "I've got an appointment at the gob doctor's tomorrow morning." "Right, okay. Okay, again. Right, gob doctors? I think that's the dentist. No one says gob doctors. Who says gob doctors?" Right, we might have to put polls on this thing. If I can work out how to do a poll, we'll do a poll about who says gob doctors. Really? Gob doctor? Well, the best way to deal with the pain tonight would be to drink several pints and let the alcohol act as a painkiller. Good advice there. It was the humorous advice from Dave. It wasn't actually humorous. It was more advising him to go down the pub in a kind of, "Dave, you need to come down the pub way." "Yes, but the aspirin I've taken won't mix too well with the alcohol." "Ah, good reply, Trevor," Trevor replied, trying to show some humour. "How is that humorous?" "But being careful to keep in the presence of having toothache." "Even better," said Dave in an upbeat tone. "You'll be pissed as a fart in no time at all, and you'll sleep through any pain that you get during the night." Right, okay. Pissed as a fart. Really? I've never known a fart pissed. It's gas. How can gas be... How does gas even... I don't get it. How does gas... Why? It's a gas. It's not like it has a reaction to alcohol. Maybe it does. Is there some scientists out there? Maybe we need to Google this. Okay, Google. Can you be as pissed as a fart?
My apologies. I don't understand.
Oh, there we go. I think that answers that one.
Now, so Google can improve, it would help to know how satisfied you are with my response.
Not
how
very.
would you rate it?
Oh.
If one's the worst and five's the best?
Oh, good question. I would say 4. Huh. You didn't like that answer, did you? Oh, there we go then. Yep, moody bitch. Right, anyway, oh, sorry. We're going to have to filter it out, aren't we? Oh, shouldn't swear. Anyway, even better, said Dave in an upbeat tone. You'll be oh no, I've done that bit. No, I don't. I'd better leave it for tonight. Do you reckon you'll be okay to watch the match tomorrow? Asked Dave. Yeah, hopefully. Depends on what the gob doctor does. I'll see you at the main gate if I can make it. I'll give you a bell in the morning. Okay, I'll see you then. Good luck with the tooth. Thanks. Cheerio, mate. Yeah, bye, Trevor replied and pushed a button on the phone to terminate the call. Just a button. Not the terminate button, but the button. He really didn't like telling lies to Dave, but he'd forgotten about the arrangement that he made with Jane until she reminded him that morning when they woke. And he didn't want to give the impression to Dave that Jane might have some sort of control over him. Otherwise, it might undermine his standing in Dave's eyes of him being a bit of a Jack the Lad. Oh, Jack the Lad again. Did we have a Jack the Lad earlier in the book? I'm not really a big fan of a saying Jack the Lad. That just means it just means twat, really, doesn't it? And male chauvinist. And obviously, if he doesn't want to be undermined, as in under the thumb or anything like that, yeah, not giving good air to me. Trevor went back to his bedroom. Jane was still drying her hair with the hairdryer. Well, yeah, unless she decided to dry it with a towel, but she was drying it with a hairdryer when she was drying it. So he took off his dressing gown, put on a smart, casual white shirt, and pulled on a pair of smart black trousers. Good for him. He sat on the edge of the bed to put on a pair of socks. As he nonchalantly looked around for his trainers, he caught sight of a framed photograph on the chest of drawers. How do you look nonchalantly around for trainers? You kind of look for trainers. There's no nonchalance about it, is there? There's no like, I will just wander over here and have a little look. Oh, maybe over here, have another look at that. Ooh, my, they're not here. No one does that. Why? He got up and walked over to it. So we're back on the photo, sorry. And smiled emotionally as he picked up the picture. It was of him in a lineup with the local football team that he used to play for. Ah, they were the days, he remarked to himself as his mind went back to a time he was an amateur player for Metcham United. You really miss playing football, don't you, darling? Jane said to him sympathetically, after finishing drying her hair. Yes, he replied, as he softly smiled at her. Well, why don't you have a serious think about getting your knee fixed? She asked. He had played football up until a couple of years ago, when he developed a small injury whereby the cartilage in his right knee had become slightly eroded. Oh, brilliant. I'm now relating to this person, because I did have my knee. I lost my right cartilage. I didn't actually lose it. It was just really badly split and falling apart. So I had a transplant, cartilage transplant, very exciting. Very middle-aged, really. Yeah, just very kind of key. Anyway, yeah, before giving up, he'd been actively involved as a member of the team, playing on a weekly basis during the football season, and was considered to be one of their better players. However, his weakened knee could no longer take the strain of a full game of football, and would tend to lock into a bended position towards the end of the evening, the first half. Towards the end of even the first half of a game. Well, that's a difficult sentence, isn't it? But even when I had my cartilage replacement, my knee never locked. Because that doesn't make your knee lock. Anyway, spectators would find this absolutely hilarious when watching him play, as he would normally be running at full throttle when his right knee would lock into a right-angled position, leaving him coming to a rather abrupt halt whilst hopping at high speed on his good left leg. Although this was comical to watch, it was quite a painful experience for him. Yeah. Oh, God. Do you know what? This book is killing me. I don't know why I'm even reading it. It's just, we're only on page 6 and I want to garrot myself. It's just, the facts are wrong. The whole thing of him being a Jack the Lad is just, really? I feel like this book was written in the early 1980s, even though it was written in, let's have a quick look, 2013. But maybe it'll get better. You kind of have to hope, don't you? I just don't know. I just feel like it needs to get better somewhere. It's just, when just things are just, anyway. Right, let's try a little bit more, and then I'm going to give up. I would if I could be sure it would be successful, he replied. But I've heard horror stories where hospital operations on the cartilage have not had a successful outcome, giving a person loads of pain and aggravation. Besides which, I may be getting a bit too old to play, and it's just nice to have a kick around with Dave and Pete now and again, without the risk of my knee being knocked out by a guy from another team. He replaced the photograph back on the cabinet. It was quite a laugh to watch Metcham play anyway, particularly as the home ground is so small. If you shout anything at anyone on the pitch, everyone else in the ground hears you. There's one poor chap who plays for Hickridge, whose name is Richard Head, and whenever he does anything wrong on the pitch, everyone shouts "Dickhead," even his team's own supporters. Oh, you see, again, we're already getting into the jokes, aren't we? You see what he did there? Can you see it? Richard, Dick, Rick. I can't stop laughing. No, really, it's just inside. I just can't. But just the laughter's just too much for me. It's just, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I just can't. Really, the most exciting thing that's going to happen to me is I'm going to have an MRI scan tomorrow on my knee. That's more exciting than this book. At least I get to stick my leg into a massive, big, vibratingly noisy thing, which isn't a cement mixer. So that's thinking about it. They literally are the same description. Big, round thing that makes a lot of noise and has a hole at one end. Cement mixer. or an iron lung MRI scanner. Kind of all the same thing, just... Yeah, but all of them don't like metal either, if you add metal into them. So, wow, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Never really thought of it that way. Anyway, right, I think, yeah, maybe we need to stop there. Because, yeah, I better go back to sleep. Anyway, it was nice talking to you. Have a nice day, and goodbye.